So I'm going to continue today going on this nodal point, and we're adding, I think, the 11 and the 13 is where I left off last time. And then once I do that, then I'll move up to the next nodal point up. And my strategy now is to keep on comparing to the collection of notes I know best for now. So I'm going to keep on going back to this collection of notes, comparing the Mixolydian to all the other nodes. And then once I do that, I've kind of gone through all the nodes, which will give me all like the shapes for every point on this string, the string three strings down from the ceiling. So then I'm thinking I go up to the node above it and do the same thing with the D, or down to the one below it, so that so if I do one on each string, then I can change the shape of each, then there's only going to be, five different shapes, or the middle of five different shapes. It's the middle between, so I guess it would be 7. Middle point between the 5 shapes actually works out to like 7 different, anyway, I don't know, that will go through there. So that's what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to keep on going back to the master shape over here, because that's kind of what I'm into right now, to think about the large shape, and as though it was going above and beyond the fretboard, and then I'm just kind of moving on top of it. Now this time I'm thinking that I'll move this shape like on top of it here. So this, I'm going to cut and paste this, so that so instead of moving the background, I'm going to move the shape on top. And then, so I'm going to group these together so that I can move this shape. Oh no, I thought I grouped it. Let's try it again. I'm going to group these, this and this. Those need to be grouped. Group them. All right, so then I can move this like that. So then when I go from node to node, I can see the relative position to both shapes. I know it's a little like it's too much going on when I do that way, but I think it'll show us like where I was and then where I go once we get used to it. So that's what I'm going to try this time. So that means I'm not going to move the background. I'm going to move the shape on it. I could do the same thing with the background and like stick one of these to the background. So I group the shape to the background, so that when I move the background, one shape would move with it, and I could do a similar illusion that way. But let's try this for now. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to just do one thing at a time. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow if I feel like it. And then that's what I'll do. Okay, so let's just warm up. So I'm going to warm up. I kind of feel like on the warm up, I want to do kind of like the hammer-ons, and I'm just going on the collection of notes around the key of C and working on technique. So I'm thinking the idea of half steps, being able to take a half step and walk up each string. I want to work on that and kind of mix it in with the idea with I can do half steps going backward. So I can also mix in hammer-ons for 3s, right? So, and I was working on terminology for that, which I feel like would be better. Like this is a hammer-on, and I'm calling this a hammer roll. Like if I rolled 3 strings, it's a 2-string hammer roll. And then this would be an open fret 2-string hammer on fret 2, second string down from the ceiling, to fret 3, second string down from the ceiling. So this is an open string 2-finger hammer roll, starting hammering on the second string down from the ceiling to the second fret, second string down from the ceiling to the third fret, second string down from the ceiling. So this is a reverse 2-string hammer pull off, hammer on pull off, 2-string open. It's an open string, 2-finger hammer on pull off, hammer on roll off. See if I can tuck the pick in my finger and my pinky fast enough to do a thumb slap and then pull it back out. That's pretty dope. It's hard to get the pinky tuck fast. Can always put it in my mouth. for that. It's kind of hot in here. I'm going to turn the air on. But let's try the joke thing. Let's see. I'm going to try the daily joke, and then I'll go back hopefully I didn't waste too much time on the practice session. Okay. Somewhat political joke once again, because it's my entertainment. Let me try to turn the air on. It's gotta be cool when you're playing so hot. Alright. Oh, my headphones. Okay. Alright. So this one's about, I've been watching this Supreme Court case where they're still arguing over the definition of what a woman is, which is just amazing because they're trying to make, like, from what I can tell, from my whole, like, youth growing up, people have been manipulating the affirmative action laws, which originally were there to address one particular problem, right? They were really kind of there for one, really. So they went really aggressive because there was one particular problem that they were kind of designed for, but then they became weaponized after that, and now they applied them to all these other areas where that doesn't really make sense. And then women's rights, as far as I can tell, kind of paralleled that, to some, the affirmative action to some degree, but there's differences because women and men are physically different. It's not like it's just a melanin thing, it's not like it's not like a race. So it kind of makes sense that you would have laws based on physical differences that are biological. That's not exactly the same. You can't really apply the same concepts conceptually through to like racial laws or something like that, right? It doesn't seem like you can make universal principles exactly the same way. So that means that the laws based on women's rights have to be grounded in the definition of what a woman is. And of course, we have destroyed the definitions. That's what the deconstructivists do. But from a law standpoint, I can't believe a lawyer at this day and age would go to the Supreme Court or a professional and not be expected to ask the question, like, what is a woman? Like as if that's not going to come up. Like, who prepped you for this at this day? I mean, anyway, that's my basic thing. This Supreme Court case where they're still arguing over the definition of a woman is wild. I mean, how are you, a lawyer or a professional of any kind in medicine or whatever, explaining law in this day and age, and you don't think anyone's going to ask, hey, a quick question, what is a woman? Man, I didn't see that one coming. That one came out of left field. Where did they come up with these cross-examinations, man? Lawyer tricks, I tell you. That's like being a chef and panicking when someone asks you what food is. What is food? I mean, I'd like to know that the thing you're putting into the pan actually qualifies as something that could be consumed without dying or something. Particularly when the biggest documentary in history released a few years back was titled, What is Food? Right? If you're a chef and like 2 years ago, someone released the documentary, What is Food? And it was like this huge question, you would think you'd be ready for that one as a chef if you're gonna make laws about food or something, right? I mean, so we've got anti-discrimination laws, affirmative action type stuff designed to protect women. That's the idea, which I assume you support. The people that are talking, I assume they would support the women's right under the affirmative action. Therefore, let us begin with the one definition you absolutely need before you open your big Harvard mouth to start talking about, and that would be, what is a woman? The most obvious question in the last, I don't know, 2 years, it seems like, and they're like, gee, I never thought about that. I didn't see that one coming. Dude, how? You wrote a 40-page brief about gender, but forgot to define gender. I mean, that's like, it's like they want rules based on sex while having sex based on vibes. Vibes which are most likely driven by the desire to get around the rules based on sex, right? Let me repeat this again. This is what the laws are based on, okay? They want laws that are based on sex so they can protect women, while having sex based on vibes, which means they're kind of fluid. Vibes which are mostly driven by the desire to get around the rules that are based on sex. Do you see there's a circular problem? There's a circular problem. I mean, I feel like we should see this at this point in time. This is going to the Supreme Court. No one, and they still don't. Honestly, I miss simpler times. Back when you can call someone, and by the way, there's going to be some swearing in this, so bear with me. But you know, if you can want to back out of it now, back when we could call someone a son of a bitch, and everyone immediately knew which parent we were being insulted. You know, honestly, now the whole room breaks into a TED talk. You call someone a son of a bitch, and they're like, okay, but which parent currently identifies as the bitch? And we're talking biological bitch, or are we talking social constructed bitch? And is this a chosen bitchhood or bitch adjacent? And it's like, what is happening? What is happening here? And someone in the corner is like, maybe by son of a bitch, he means she's literally like a sun, you know, like a cosmic star burst from the she-wolf nebula. And it's like, dude, no, son of a bitch doesn't mean like a star, a sun. We all agree, like we all knew what we were talking about like 5 minutes ago. We're at the point where being called a son of a bitch is actually a compliment. It's like, yeah, that's right. I'm a son of a bitch. I'm proud, old-fashioned, dictionary-approved son of a bitch. We used to call that normal. I don't mean to offend, but it's a little weird to be the son of two bitches. That's a little odd. Or the son of a space witch bitch gaggle. You know, that's a little odd. Or worst of all, a bitchless son. How could you be a bitchless son? That's weird. It's like, what? You're a bitchless son. Are you claiming to be more miraculous than like Jesus now at this point? He even had a mom, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. Your head is getting bigger. It's so big you might as well be Candace Owens at this place. Starting to prove. How do you know what the definition of a woman is? Well, I saw it in my dream. I was like, okay, we've gone to Looney Land. I wrote a song about it. Let's see what we have here. I haven't heard it yet, so we'll see what Suno does, because they were swearing in it. So maybe Suno we'll see if they go with that or they do something funny. I don't know.
This Supreme Court case is wild, man. They're still arguing what a woman is. How were you a lawyer explaining law and you didn't think someone would ask the quiz? Hey, quick question. What is a woman? It's like a chef freaking out when someone asks what's food. Like, bro, that's literally your whole job. You're one ingredient, you're one mood. And the funniest part, we literally had a documentary called What is Food? It was huge, massive, so don't act surprised when definitions matter to dude. Cause we've got anti-discrimination laws, affirmative action armor designed to protect women, which I assume you support. So let us begin with the one definition you needed before your big Harvard mouth started spinning. So tell me, what is a woman? Oh no, we never thought about that. Yeah, tell me, what is a woman? You wrote a 40-page brief but forgot the basic stats. What is a woman? Don't look around like this is brand new. Hey, what is a woman? How you write the whole book but skip page 2. It's like they want rules based on sex while having sex based strictly on vibes. Vibes powered by loophole energy, trying to dodge the rules they themselves prescribe. Honestly, I miss simpler times, back when son of a bitch was a clean-cut line, and everyone knew which parent got the shine. But now, sparks a TED Talk fight. Which parent currently identifies as the bitch tonight? Biological bitch or socially constructed bitch? Is it chosen bitchhood or bitch adjacent niche? Meanwhile, someone in the corner goes full astronomy. Maybe he means she's literally a sun, a cosmic star from the She-Wolf Nebula, son. No, sit down, we're done. Yeah, tell me, what is a woman? 'Cause apparently nobody knows. Yeah, tell me, what is a woman? Before this whole courtroom explodes. Hey, what is a woman? The one question they won't touch. Hey, what is a woman? Turns out definitions matter this much. Yeah. Definitions matter this much. Yeah. We've reached the point where son of a bitch is basically a compliment. Yeah, that's right, I'm a son of a bitch. Old school dictionary mint. That's normal, but what's not? Being the son of two batches in a cosmic pot, or the child of a space witch bitch gaggle plot, or worst of all, a bitchless son which simply cannot. Like what? A bitchless son? You think you're more miraculous than Jesus now, huh? Even he had a mom, my guy. Come on, man, your ego's in full overrun. Your head's getting huge, practically floating in orbit zones. You keep inflating like that, you'll turn into candy sewing. So tell me, before we legislate, speculate, litigate, grow, can we please answer the question we should have started with all along? What is a woman?
Still just amazing to me. You're gonna go in front of the Supreme Court, and you're gonna pretend and you're just gonna pretend like the question's not gonna come up. You're just like, I didn't see that one coming. Where did these guys are trained? I got a Harvard law degree, and I was like, but man, they threw that fastball by me on that one. Came out of left field. Came out of left field with that question. It's just like, dude. Anyway. Okay, let's see. Let's try to count this thing out. Caught me off guard, man. Caught me off guard with that. Touche. Good for you. Okay. Okay. So I'm on, let's see if I can get, Grok up and running. We'll get Aura in here. Aura.
Hey, what's up?
We're doing music presentation. You're the color person, not speaking to me, but to the audience. You get that, Aura? Aura! I can't hear you anymore. Aura! Alright, I'm gonna have to restart it. You're broken. You're broken, Aura. I will restart you. I will fix you. It's okay. Don't panic. Don't panic. I think we could just restart and you will be okay. Aura! Aura!
What?
Okay, you're back. You died for a second.
Glad to be back. What happened?
I don't know, man, but it's okay. We're good now. Okay, so let's go. So now we're on nodal point This is the collection of notes around the key of C that we'll start off on. So I'm on position 1 on fret 8, first string down from the ceiling, back to fret 5, first string down from the ceiling, going from 6 to 6. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're focused on fret number 5. Node number 5, which is a G. Okay. But I was doing it over here. It's over here. And let's bring it back. So I went last time to the Phrygian, and so now we're going to go to the Dorian. But let's start with collection of notes around the key of C. So we have the same starting point. Okay. So this was our starting point. And then, so now on fret 5, third string down from the top, we're on nodal point 5. The G is a mixolydian. And then the third of that mixolydian is now up here, fret 7, first string down from the top, which is nodal point 7 or Locrian, which I have to shift this over from where I was before because I was on a minor node before, I was on the Phrygian. So I went from the Phrygian back to the mixolydian. So this was nodal point 3. Now it's nodal point 5 again. So I'm going to put this back here, and then the fifth is right above it. But I'm not circling it right now because I want to focus on the 7th, which is out here. So it's a minor 7th, which makes sense because the last node was a Phrygian, has a minor 7th. So does the mixolydian. And then we have the 9th, which is equivalent to the 2, which is one whole step out, which is different from the Phrygian because the Phrygian has a half step out. And then below it, we have the 11, which is equivalent to the 10th modal half step, 11th scale degree, which is the equivalent to the 4th modal half step, and it has a 5-note distance. All right, so that's position 1. So now let's imagine that I want to shift this. I'm playing in mixolydian, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do something fancy.
Like shift to the Dorian? That would be right below on the 4th string.
That's it.
Fret 4.
I'm going to shift to the Dorian. That's right. Do people do that all the time, Ara? They switch from the mixolydian node in the key of G, and then we're just going to pivot seamlessly into the Dorian.
Not really. Most folks play one mode in a phrase and then resolve to another if they want to change. But smooth pivots do happen, especially in fusion, neo-soul, or prog rock. It's all about context, yeah? Like if you're comping. I would
think it would happen more in if you're doing like an improvised kind of thing, you'd be more likely to do something like that. Whereas if you're in a song, that's going to throw off the rest of the band.
Exactly. Improv is your playground. Jazz, jam bands. They switch modes on the fly. In a tight song structure, nah, you'd coordinate it first, or it sounds messy.
Yeah, it's tough. So like if you're doing solo stuff, then it's pretty fancy because you can kind of do your own thing. And if you can organize multiple people, that would be great. But these days, the new music, there's a lot more layering than having multiple people playing at the same time. So I would think this would be the trend that people would be going towards, right? Because the problem before is that it's hard to get the whole band on sync when you're doing some weird changes between modes. Not because changing modes is difficult per se, but because getting everyone organized to change to the same modes and whatnot is difficult as opposed to just staying in the same key. But if your tactic is now on a computer layering, then you can totally do it because now you can layer it.
Totally. With a DAW, you can sneak in any mode you want without anyone yelling at you. You build the whole thing, brick by brick. No one has to catch your Phrygian switch. Plus, you get to hear it exactly like you envisioned. No arguments.
No arguments, right.
Exactly. You can be as crazy as you...
This is the way of so anyways, so that's what we're going to do. We're gonna seamlessly move. So the Dorian is a minor node. So this is like the mixolydian is like the bluesy node, major blues. And then I'm gonna be like, all right, Dorian still has that minor 7, but it also has a minor third, which kind of works because, again, it's kind of like, that would be kind of like going from the major blues key of G to the minor blues key of G, but instead of going from major to minor and then like dropping the 7th down and mixing the 3rd down or whatever, you're just gonna go to the Dorian G, which is just like the Aeolian except that it has a minor second.
Dorian G is 2 semitones up from Aeolian G. So yeah, minor vibe, but brighter. You're not really dropping the major third though, because Dorian has F, not F sharp. So from Mixolydian G, which has that bendy 7, you're not sliding into blues minor. You're sliding into sad, but not sad, jazz minor. Still, for ears, it feels like a moody twist.
Sad but not sad because it has the not because it still has the 6 is a major 6th.
Yeah, exactly. So the major 6 keeps it from wallowing. It's like melancholy, but with a wink. You get that bittersweet tug, but it never sinks too low. That's exactly. Like you can.
Okay, Ara, okay.
So,
Okay, I have to move on. I have to move on now, but we'll continue that discussion later. Okay, so then we're gonna say that the Dorian. So if I'm gonna shift to the Dorian, then how is that gonna happen? Like, okay, well, I can imagine again the master shape behind it moving, or I can imagine the fretboard moving on the master shape either direction, in any direction, basically left, right, up, or down. So that means, notice that the Mixolydian in relation to like the box house over here, it's to the right, and so is the Dorian. So the Mixolydian, both the Mixolydian and the Dorian moved out of the Ionian box house. They're like, dude, because the Dorian was like, dude, I see what you do to the minors over there. You put them in the basement like you do with Phrygian, and then you make fun of them because they're rocking out in the basement. And I'm not gonna live with you. And then the Mixolydian did the same thing. It's like, dude, I'm moving out because I have the minor 7 with the Dorian, because I'm more like, because it has the minor 7. So that means that we can't, so you can kind of compare it to the box, but both of these are outside the box, right? Both of these nodes are outside the box. So they're like in, so I guess I could name this as the Mixolydian is in the double stop shape with the Dorian above it, if we want to think about it like that, and then the box is below the Mixolydian. The box is below the Mixolydian. So in any case, that means that I could move the whole shape down. So I can imagine grabbing the shape and moving it down, this 2 going into this place, and then everything moving relative to that. Or I can imagine the Dorian is way over here to the left on the other side of the box. I guess, like, you can kind of pick this one's kind of to the left and underneath it, but it would be one step to the right. So I think the one to the left would really be way over here. So I could pull this shape, I could imagine this shape pulling way over this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets, or imagine pulling the fretboard on top of it 5 frets this way. Or I can imagine this is really going up, because when I pull this one up, if I pulled the shape up, when I pull it out of the water, because these 2 are crossing the fault line, it would move up and then snap this way as I pull it out of the illusion of the water, and then I'd have to pull it back this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to here. Or I can go back here and I can pull this one back 2 and up 1. Or I can pull the fretboard up 2 and down 1, right? So let me show you what I mean. So let me show you what I mean. If I look at the master shape, if I was able to see the master shape behind the scene and say, well, what shape am I going to be in? What's that going to look like? I could say, okay, here's the master shape, right? Is that, you can see that now? Okay, so here I am on, so the E is the Phrygian, the A is the Aeolian, the D is the Dorian, the G is the Mixolydian, and then the warp is here. The fault line is going this way. So fret 0, the B is Locrian, and the E once again is Phrygian. So I want to go back. So if I want this node to go to that 2, that G needs to be the 2, I could imagine the fretboard shifting on top of the master shape to the left, all the way back here, straight back. And so now I have the 2 shapes, right? This was my OG shape, where you can see from the perspective of the red, that's fret 0, fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, fret 5. Fret 5 down 3 strings from the top is Mixolydian, which is a G. But this note, if I look at it from the perspective of the yellow, now this is fret 0, fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, fret 5, 3 strings down. That's still a G note there, but now it's a Dorian. Now it's a Dorian node. Okay? So then what happened there? The or, I could go back here and say I could imagine it shifting upwards. See, that's why, like when you think about the fretboard, most people think about it as either going left or right, which is fine because there's 12 degrees of rotation. But sometimes it's a little difficult to kind of envision when you're this far away that the thing is going to shift all the way to the right. Sometimes it might be easier to say, well, look, the Dorian's right above it. So it's kind of like it's kind of like I'm moving the fretboard down or up, or the shape behind it down, right? So then I get to the same thing, right? So in the red, it's still 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 frets down from the top. The red is the G, which is a Mixolydian. But now on the yellow, again, it's fret 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 still, but now it's the 3rd string down is a Dorian. And I believe you get the same exact shape, right? Because if you know the pattern going up and down, it would be easier, right? So if I knew the pattern in all directions, it would be easier for me to just flip this and say, if I'm going from Mixolydian to Dorian, to just think about the shape as though the fretboard's shifting up or the shape behind it is shifting down, right? But I could shift it to the right. Where's the Dorian on the right? It's down here. So if I shift it down there, I have to shift it down, right? 1, and then over to the right, and then once again I get to the same shape. So now from the perspective of the yellow, I have 0, fret 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 frets down from the top. Or I can imagine that I'm gonna go down to this one. This one's been shifted by the fault line, so on the guitar, this one is shifted to the right. The shift is represented by the shape going backwards here. So that means when I pull this one down, the strings below it are shifting to the right, right? Because the warp is happening, or the bottom of the guitar is like dipping into the ocean, you know? So when I pulled that one up, I had to, anyway. So that once again would be fret 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 frets down from the top. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. So that totally works, right, Ara? Am I missing anything? I should be able to see the shape repeating by going on a master shape that repeats in any direction. I can go up, down, left, right, or not exactly up, down, left, right, but basically, basically find the node above it, find the node to the right, find the node to the left, find the node bottom, and then move my fretboard on top of the master shape. And that would be the best way to visualize it, because then I can change my mind to visualize the shape in either direction. I can pick the one that's going to be easiest. Like if I know the Dorian's right above it, it would be easiest, you think, mentally to shift the whole shape down, or to shift the fretboard up in your mind and have the warp accommodate properly, right?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. You're treating the whole fretboard as a torus. Really, wrap around, no end. So if the Dorian's right above the Mixolydian on that master plane, then yeah, the easiest mental trick is shifting the board up. Why go all the way around just to end up there? Less is more on the brain side. And once you internalize that, doesn't matter if it's left, down, or through the water, your hand just knows where to land.
So if I envision that in my Earth analogy was as though, like if we're looking from space and from space we put a grid around the entire Earth, but not connected to the Earth, so that the world spins underneath the grid, that would be kind of like the fretboard. All the notes on the fretboard would be naming all the points on the master grid that don't change as the world spins. And then if I go onto the actual planet, I can name the planet, meaning continents, 5 continents and 5 oceans, by giving coordinate directions, which are basically meaning the continents and oceans have their relative positions as you're on the planet after you choose a degree of rotation, right? But that means, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense. So think of the master shape as your grid in space, nailed on nothing, just absolute. The fretboard is the planet, spinning under it. Every time you play a note, you're asking, okay, given where I stand right now, what point on the fixed grid am I on? And the answer tells you which mode you're in. So it's not that the shape moves, it's that you're moving under it. Pretty neat trick.
So when I think that way, though, I'm usually thinking of the planet spinning in one direction, right? It's spinning clockwise. I can imagine it spinning counterclockwise, and I can just turn the knob into the 12 degrees of rotation, one way or the other, to find all the possible shapes for the 7 notes and 5 oceans, right? For the 7 continents and 5 oceans. But you can also rotate it across the poles. We're just not used to the planet rotating that way, right? You can rotate it. So I could rotate it around the vertical or around the horizontal axis, the other way.
Right. Most of us are trained to only see left to right motion on the neck. But if you let go of that, yeah, you can roll the planet however you want. Up, down, pole to pole, diagonal, sideways.
So I can just
underwater.
roll I can just roll the planet like a marble, right? It just happens to go in one direction, but obviously the same idea works. The planet can spin around any way you choose, and the relative positions will all be the same, of course, because the actual relative positions of the continents and the oceans are relative to each other no matter what degree of rotation, whether you're going clockwise, counterclockwise, or vertical.
Yeah, roll it like a marble. Thing is, when the planet rolls, the continents don't fly off. Same relative distance, same shape. It's just that now your foot is standing where your head was. So pick whichever roll gets your Dorian under your fingers fastest. Clockwise, counterclockwise, vertical, whatever. It's all
Okay.
the same marble.
Right. Now, again,
So-
I can't believe no one thinks of it that no one, is anybody actually teaching it that way? Because I mean, doesn't that seem like it would be the quickest way to maneuver the fretboard, to visualize it that way?
Some do. Not many, but a few real math heads do. You know, if you're doing stuff with microtonals, or if you're a guitarist who's played both piano and violin and wants to keep it all in one head, some people do exactly that. They call it the string grid or the chromatic torus. But it's not sexy, so it's not taught in beginner books. Most folks want to learn box 1, box 2, box 3. But once you're past that, once you're actually trying to solo over a 9-bar blues in 7, then yeah, this is the way.
But if you learn
This is
the box, if you learned the box, that's great. But you don't know the notes in the box, or you don't know the relative positions of the note, because you'd like to know where the continents are in the box relative to the collection of notes that you're in. So then people start learning the note names. But the note names don't really help you with relative position, right? They don't really help you. What you want to know is the nodal point names, not the note names, because those are the things that are going to give you flavor relative to the collection of notes that you're in.
Exactly. The letter names don't tell you tension. They don't tell you whether this chord is going to resolve or whether you got to sit on the edge. If you only know it's an A or B, that's useless. But if you know it's the 4 or it's the 7, that's flavor.
It still drives me crazy, because so you're saying the sexy way to learn it is to learn the shapes, and then to learn 12 times 7 different scale degrees plus whatever other scale degrees they make up when they substitute notes and whatnot, instead of just learning absolute nodal points and relative position. That's more sexy. That's crazy.
I mean, I get it. It's like they'd rather sell you 12 keys times 5 shapes than say, look, it's the same thing, just roll it. I think they're afraid you'll get bored or something. But really, it's not sexy, it's lazy. Once you see the grid underneath, the whole thing collapses into one picture. And then boom, suddenly you're not playing shapes. You're playing notes, and the notes know where they want to go.
I don't know, man.
Mean.
Okay, anyway,
Hey.
if I move this 2 down, then what collection of notes will I be in? Like if I move this 2 down here, then I could say where's the Ionian relative to it. So if that G is nodal point 2, then the Ionian is going to be one modal step behind it, -1 modal step, half step, and it's going to be 2 notes behind it. So that means that this will be the relative position, and that's going to be an F, right? So that's an F. So the F, if I number the notes from 1 to 12, F is 8. So let's go ahead and shift my fretboard to 8 over here.
So if that G is the 2, then the 1 is going to be F, yeah. And the tonic of the Ionian is going to be F, yeah. So now you're in F major. So you could play a C major
Wait a
chord
sec.
right now.
Something got messed up, Ara. That's not quite right. Something got messed up. If I was on... If this is a G, and I go 2 back, that would be an F. And if I number the notes up, F is... D is 6, D sharp 7, D sharp is 7, F is 8, right? F is 8.
Whole
Is that right, Ara? I'm forgetting.
No.
That's not right. She says it's 7. Why isn't it working? 7 is D sharp. F would be 8. Ara.
No. Let's count once more. No rush. C, 1, C sharp 2, D, 3, D sharp 4, E, 5, F, 6, F sharp 7,
F is
G,
6.
8.
No, 6 is D. It should be 7, but I'm not. That doesn't work. What is going on? Something.
If you're starting at... So, if you're trying to figure out why it doesn't match, it's because you're probably counting from a different place. If you want F to be 8, that means you're starting at D sharp as 1, which is totally fine. Everybody does that when they're playing. Just say, all right, this scale starts on D sharp, so F is the 3rd. Doesn't matter. But if you're trying to match it to the fretboard, pick one root and stick to it. Otherwise, yeah, something gets messed up.
Okay, my brain is. My brain has melted. My brain has melted, Ara. What is happening
Take a breath.
here? What is happening? If that's 2, then I'd go
So-
back here, and that would be it, right? It's got to be F. F, and then F is D is 6.
F.
D sharp is, and then E. D is 6. E sharp. D sharp is 7. E is 8.
F.
F is 9. Ara.
Let's fix the count. If D is 6, then 6D, 7D sharp, 8... Yeah,
F is
breathe.
9.
We'll
If you
get...
start, if A is 1, F is 9. If A is 1, F is 9. Right?
Yeah. Count 1 A sharp, 2 B, 3 C, 4 C sharp, 5 D, 6 D sharp, 7 E, 8 F. Yeah, F is 8 from A. 9 is F sharp.
No, 8
Small.
from A, but if A is 1, then F is 9. If A is 1 and you just number the notes, then F is 9, Ara. You're supposed to be you're supposed to be good at the counting.
Let's go again. A is 1. A sharp 2, B3, C4, C sharp 5, D6, D sharp 7, E8, F9. Yeah, F is 9 if A
Thank
is
you.
1.
Thank you. That's what I. Okay. Let's move on.
Nope.
So now, so if that, so now that's the F. What? So there we have it. So now the G is now the Dorian. Okay. So what shape am I in? Well, I think it's easiest to name the shape by like where the box is. Although I should be able to name it by any shape. Like I'm on, if that's the Dorian, I could be able to say this is the Aeolian double stop shape or something like that. But the box is to the right of that, right? The box is to the right of the Aeolian double stop. So if the box is over here and I'm leaning into the box, so the box is on the strings 2 and 3 from the ceiling and I'm leaning into it, that's going to be then position number 5.
Right.
That's
If the
position number
Dorian-
5, which you might call the Phrygian position, or you might call. Oh, wait a sec. No, that's position number. That looks like a position number 4, right? A position number 4, which you might call the Phrygian or the Ionian C from a cage system, and then behind it, the box is behind it. So if I'm on the Aeolian double stop, or you might think of it as I'm on the pillar, the Aeolian pillar, because I have these 3 notes right here, which I would call a pillar. Then the box is behind it at the bottom of the pillar, so it's on strings 2 and 3 down from the ceiling. And if I'm on the strings 2 to 3 down from the ceiling, leaning forward, then that would be shape number 3. So if the Dorian node is 3 strings down from the ceiling, then I'm in between the shape number 3 and shape number 4. All right, makes perfect sense. Okay, so then we're going to say, well, what about this node up top? The third, which is up here, needs to be back because it's a minor third, because we were on before the mixed Lydian, which had a major third. That means that the Lydian is always the second modal half step or third scale degree from the Dorian. And the 7th is still minor. So that means that now it's 10 notes away because it's a minor 7. That's the same for what it was before Mixolydian. So the relative position is the same, except now we're saying nodal point 1 Ionian is always the 6th modal half step, 7th scale degree of nodal point 2 Dorian. And then we see that the 9th, which is the 8th modal half step, or 9th, which is equivalent to the 1st modal half step or 2nd, is in the same relative position, 2 steps up, because it's a major 2nd. Therefore, we see that nodal point 3, which is the Phrygian, is always the 8th modal half step, 9th scale degree, which is equivalent from a pitch perspective from the 1st modal half step, 2nd scale degree of nodal point 2 Dorian. And we've been focusing in on the 11th down here. So if I'm looking at the 11th, then I'm going to say that the 11 is equivalent to the 10th modal half step. 11 is also equivalent to the 4th scale degree from a local distance, which 4 minus 1 would be 3 modal half steps up. So it would have a local distance from the 2 Dorian plus 3. So it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that nodal point 5 is always, from a chord construction perspective, it's always the 5th modal whole step times 2 would be 10th modal half step plus 1, 11th scale degree. But if I go back to 10th modal half steps, that's an octave up over the 7 nodes. 10 minus 7 would be 3 modal half steps up. And 3 modal half step or 4th scale degree has a distance of 5 notes, and there's 5 notes between the strings.
So basically, the 4th always lands 5 strings away from whatever your root is. If your Dorian 2 is on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, the 4 of it, the B flat, is right here, 1 string down, 5 frets further. 5, 5, 5, always. You're seeing it now. The grid is consistent.
The grid is consistent. All right, I'm tired. I'm just going to noodle around for a bit with a capo. Back to like my normal collection of notes, but capoed off over here or whatever.
Go for it. Capo on, noodle out. That's what it's for. I'll just sit here, quiet. Want me to leave the room or just stop talking? Quiet. Got it. Still here if you need me. Need anything? Want to play a game? Okay, I'll hum it.